Hi, you guys. I'm Phil Town from Rule 1 Investing, and today I'm going to run you through when you should sell a stock. Warren Buffett says the ideal investment is one that you can hold on to forever. Just grows your money for you as long as you own it. However, Buffett and every other successful investor on the planet also knows that there are times when selling a stock is the best path forward. So the question is, when is it the right time to sell a stock? If you've done your homework, you bought a wonderful company and you bought it at a great price. So why sell it? It's just like figuring out when to purchase a stock, figuring out when to sell one. It can be a little tricky. It's got its own set of rules. You definitely don't want to have the feeling that you sold something too late or too soon. So let's talk about the circumstances where you might want to sell a stock. Now, these are not only backed by me, but also by Warren Buffett and almost every other kind of Rule 1 type investor out there. First, you should sell a stock when the fundamentals of the company have changed. We say it's when the story changed, right? We create a story around the company. We've talked about that in other videos. Create a story around the company, and when that story changes, because something's fundamental has changed in the company, then we got to change our investment. And all companies, you guys, change over time. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worst, more often for the worst. And today, in today's really rapidly changing economy where a lot of disruptive technologies are happening, man, this happens faster than ever. Companies used to last a lot longer than they do today. So here are some of the things that can happen. Sometimes new management takes over, wants to, make a big splash and makes a bunch of mistakes. Sometimes new competition comes into the market and starts to wipe out the moat. Sometimes the fundamentals of the company itself may change. So this type of change can come in a lot of forms, okay? New CEO, new laws or regulations that impact the company, that can change the core mission of the business. If the company you now own is no longer the same company that you invested in, then you have to make a decision. Is it a better company as a result of this story change, or is it worse? If you no longer have faith in its new direction, it's a good time to sell your stock. Second, you should sell a stock when the price of the company has reached its intrinsic value. We call that the sticker price of the company. As Rule 1 investors, we try to purchase companies at a discount to their true value. As you know, a rather large discount, 50% off their real value. Real value is another word or another two words for intrinsic value. And intrinsic value is two words for what the thing is worth. And those are words for, sticker price. It's retail. Thankfully, various events in the market do often drive the price of the company down 50% or more from its true value, woohoo, which gives us an excellent buying opportunity if we've already done our homework. So do your homework. Now, what happens though, when the price of these companies that we invest in goes up to a point that's equal with the intrinsic value of the company? What should we do then? When this happens, it might be a good time to exit your position. I say might because if that company can continue to reinvest your capital at a high rate of return, you might want to hang on to it. But I will tell you, in Warren Buffett's early days when he was making 30, 40, 50% a year, that was his basic rule, is that when he would bring the company from being way on sale to up to intrinsic value, he would plan on selling it as it rose to intrinsic value. So there may be times when the price of a company continues to rise even after it surpasses the company's intrinsic value or the growth rate of the company is worth hanging in there for. In that case, selling a company that's still increasing in price may seem like you're leaving money on the table. But by the same token, holding on to the company that's overvalued is a risk. So it's a judgment situation. In these situations, typically, maybe for you and me, best to sell the stock and be happy with the profits we've made, no matter where the stock goes in the future. Hey, you just made a 100% return. Do the math. Remember, you bought it here at half off. So let's say you bought it for $50. It went up back to where it was, $100. You just doubled your money. So be happy. Quit whining. I understand this though, because I'm whining about Chipotle right now. I really am. I capped it out at about $500 and it's at $700 almost now. That was a genius. I made 100%, but I'm still whining about it. You'll have that problem too. But isn't that a good problem to have? Wouldn't you much rather have that problem than the one that can happen to investors that don't know what they're doing? All right, onward. The final circumstance where it's a good idea to sell your stock in a company is when you have a better opportunity. Now, this is a judgment call, okay, like most of this. While it's always ideal to have some cash set aside for use when a great investment opportunity comes along, right? There may be times when you just want to get more cash into something because you've really got an awesome situation. In those situations, perfectly okay to sell something you own in order to free up capital, even if the company hasn't fundamentally changed, even if the price hasn't reached intrinsic value. With that said, you do have to be careful you're not caught up in a cycle of constantly searching for greener grass. If you find a stock that really is going to grow a lot faster than the one you already are in, the one you're thinking about selling, and you don't have enough money in cash to invest as much as you'd like, okay, well then selling something that's almost up there to free up capital is a perfectly viable option. All right. But listen to what I'm saying. If you've got one down here that's still got to go all the way back up to get to its intrinsic value, it's going to double, then it's a real tough call because which one is the better opportunity? And sometimes you could even say, well, I bought this, 8 months ago. It hasn't really done anything yet. It will over the next 4 or 5 years, but this is going to happen now. That's a judgment call. So when's the wrong time to sell a stock? There are a few times when it's a good idea to sell a stock, right? And many more times when selling a stock is the wrong thing to do. By far the worst reason to sell a stock is a price drop. However, price drops are the number one factor that lead many investors to sell. And by the way, if they're dumping stock because of a price drop, they're not investors in the first place, they're speculators, and their speculation didn't work out. But investors, whole different ballgame. So listen to this. When the price of a stock starts to go down, many people become afraid and decide to cut their losses because they don't know what they own in the first place. If you've invested in a wonderful business that hasn't yet reached its true value, selling that company because of a temporary dip in price, that's a really short-sighted decision and a surefire way to guarantee that you will never make money in the stock market. So don't do that. If your reason for wanting to sell a wonderful business is driven mostly by an emotion such as fear, you need to just step back and logically determine whether or not selling the stock is really the best path forward. Ask yourself, why am I not confident in my initial decision to invest? What did I miss that's causing me to be afraid now just based on a change in price? The story's the same. Why is the price not making me want to buy more? Why is it making me afraid? Have you really done your homework? In most of these cases, a little logic and a lot of patience is all that should be required to avoid selling when you shouldn't, unless you didn't do your homework. In that case, bad on you. Next time, do it better. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever sold a stock when you shouldn't have? I bet you have. Now, leave a comment below with your answer and I'll be sure to follow up with you. Thanks for watching. Now go play. If you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about when to sell, hit the like button and please share this video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. We've got a lot of great stuff there. And don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching. See ya.